All right, go ahead, Connie.
On his first day in office, President Obama signed I still don't know this word, on transparency and open government. And in October 2009, the White House issued an unprecedented open government directive
Memorandum.
requiring federal agencies to take specific steps to achieve key milestones in transparency, participation, and collaboration. Like the rest of the government, transparency is an imperative for the IC. This imperative has since been underscored by President Obama, who stated in his national security speech on January 17, 2014, "For our intelligence community to be effective over the long haul, we must maintain the trust of the American people and people of the world. We will reform programs and procedures in place to provide greater transparency." In June 2014, the DNI instructed the ODNI's Civil Liberties Protection Officer to coordinate development of a new strategic approach to intelligence transparency as part of the imperative and to earn and retain public trust. The significance to increase transparency was also reflected in the 2014 National Intelligence Strategy, which called upon the IC to continue to implement approaches to provide appropriate transparency. In recent years, the IC has made major strides toward enhancing transparency. For example, the ODNI established the IC on Record as a repository for declassified documents, official statements, speeches, and testimony. IC on the Record has published over 5,000 pages of officially released documents. The ODNI, in coordination with the IC elements, published a detailed report describing the measures taken to implement intelligence reforms in the year since the President's January 2014 speech. The report includes links to IC's elements policies specifying how they will safeguard personal information collected via signals intelligence activities regardless of nationality, consistent with Section 4 of Presidential Policy Directive 28 Signals Intelligence Activities. The IC facilitated oversight by the President's Civil Liberties Oversight Board by conducting intensive classification and declassification reviews of sensitive information to support the board in publishing comprehensive descriptions of intelligence activities under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. The IC prepared and published two annual statistic transparency reports that presented data on the use of key surveillance authorities. In addition, the IC reached agreement with providers so that they can publish statistics on the national security orders they receive. The IC publicly supported the passage of the USA Freedom Act, which includes additional transparency requirements that the IC will be implementing over the coming year. IC officials participated in a wide range of public engagements, including speeches, media interviews, panel discussions, and meetings with civil society and other external stakeholders. IC offices carefully reviewed and responded to large numbers of FOIA requests and conducted pre-publication reviews of official information, resulting in the authorized release of substantial volumes of information. Although these efforts represent an unprecedented increase in intelligence transparency, the IC recognizes that more work remains to be done in order to fully institutionalize principles.
This is such incredible bullshit. It's shocking. Listen to the great things they do. They continue to implement protocols. They establish the ICM as a repository. It's great. Love that. They published 5,000 pages of documents? What kind of documents, I wonder? They don't mention, they don't say. They indicate where, in another document, they describe the measures they use. And they talk about how, when they're trying to dig into specifics about how they choose. And they've gone through an intensive classification, declassification effort with sensitive information. Keeping in mind that sensitive is not even sensitive enough to be classified. It's not classified. They've gone through a classification, declassification process with unclassified information. And they're bragging about it. They've come to agreements to allow people to speak about the national security letters they receive. They never had the authority to prevent them from doing so in the first place. They have answered FOI requests. Well, whoop-de-effing do. As opposed to what? Ignoring them? We followed the law. We're legally required to answer FOI requests. And we did it. We didn't ignore it this time. We didn't flaunt the law this time. Aren't we really being good? And then lastly, they recognize the need to make more improvement. Well, gosh, now I'm convinced. These guys are great. They fixed the problem. We don't need to worry about the government spying on us anymore. See? See all these things they did? They said a whole lot of words, huh? What do you think, Connie?
It's super vague and stuff, but I think it'll be good to convince like lay judges or like just like something really general.
Imagine your opponent runs this against you and they say, no, we do not need to worry about, we used to have to worry about the government. Because it used to be that they were guilty of a few abuses. But since this president's letter where he said it's really important to worry about this now, well, I mean, they've done 10 different things here. They've established the ICM as a repository, they've published 5,000 pages of documents, they've described the measures by which they make decisions, they've done an intensive declassification effort on sensitive information all throughout the government. These are important reasons to know that we're okay as a people because the government's changed now. They're not guilty of this anymore. What do you say, Connie?
I would kind of say something like it was already their responsibility to begin with to do these things. So it's not really that special that they're beginning to fulfill their responsibilities. But they're not taking an extra step to protect citizens and like to declassify classified sensitive information that are not sensitive enough to be classified.
I would say, another thing you say is, what are you two doing?
I'm showing him last week.
Oh, okay. You're showing, what are you showing? Pictures of what? Of PETA?
Yeah.
I mean, the people against ethical treatment of animals?
Yeah, that's what we learned last week.
Okay. I don't know why he was covering it. Anyway, regardless. Oh, you did anthropomorphism? Okay, fine. That's fine then. I want you to say in response to this, first of all, one of the harms of what the government's doing is they are apparently convincing people that incredibly weak argumentation counts as sound reasoning. They're fooling you. They're lying to you. These aren't reasons to trust them. This is evidence of how untrustworthy they are. Right? If you tell me, prove to me that you're being less secret, and I give you a bunch of gobblygook like this, it doesn't actually give you any evidence of me being less secret in any meaningful way. Here's evidence. If you want me to prove me you're being less secret, government, open the door and say, everybody come look at everything, and let's all decide this should be classified. We'll just keep the nuclear bomb stuff and the chemical weapon stuff away, maybe, because, we don't need that to get disseminated widely if we can avoid it, but even if you had it, you wouldn't be able to make one. If you had instructions on how to make a nuclear bomb, you would not be able to make it. Do you think, Connie?
I probably will.
You will?
I'll try to.
What would you do with it?
I'll just keep it, I guess.
Just keep it?
Just in case there's a zombie apocalypse or something, I'll just nuke everything.
Is it going to solve any problems? What problems can be solved with nuclear weapons, do you think?
To instantly commit genocide, I guess, and just kill a bunch of people.
Well, yes, that's an outcome that one could achieve with a nuclear weapon. But I'm saying, what problem could one solve? Can you think of any problems that require a nuclear weapon to solve them?
Societal problems, because all the people you have problems with will be dead by then. So what problems will be solved?
Well, that's true, but hopefully we can come up with another way to solve it. One of the problems with nuclear weapons, even if you were morally okay with doing that, is you get radiation all over you. So basically, they're not very useful things, nuclear weapons. And neither is the government. They're lying. They lie all the time. They publish a whole website full of these lies. And what do we use it for? Well, I want you to be very convincing. See, this is good stuff, Connie, right? Because what are you going to say if I say, the government is very much doing bad things? You say, what?
But they're not.
They used to be. But this president's recent letter has meant, how many different warrants do we have here, Connie?
More than two.
More than two, right? I like the repository one. I like the 5,000 pages one. I like, this one's too big. I mean, describe the measures. Well, can you tell me what the measures are then, please? And then you'd be like, that's one of the measures, is they promised to describe the measures at some point. Intensive declassification, this is great. This one's great. You want to cut that for sure. Because they're not going to know that this is actually a classification level sensitive information. And that it's a non-sensitive sensitive level, And so obviously. And I think also the answer to a bunch of FOI requests, make them point out that that's their duty. It's like, and we didn't kill you. Well, thanks a lot. I mean, I would hope that would be just, ground level number one. Okay. This you don't want to bring up. The national security records you don't want to bring up because this is something that's going to be an argument for the other side, okay? A good reason to put it in the surveillance is national security. Thank you, Connie, for participating in this episode of Talking with Spanish People.
You're welcome. I'm gonna eat a Twix.